Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast. Today, I have another special guest for you, Washington safety Cam Kurl. I love talking to him. Kurl's a quiet kid, so I appreciate him coming on. You can find out about his study habits, what he thinks about any competition between he and Landon Collins, and could Kurl play free safety if they needed him to? Also, how the game of Madden helped him while preparing for his own games, and more. Kurl was one of my favorite players to watch last season simply because the kid was so prepared and it showed on the field. And I asked him about that. Why was he seemingly always in the right place at the right time? And some of the plays that he did make or that he prevented simply by being in the right place at the right time. So we talk about a couple of those. Don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com. I have a story up now about Washington's quest for a quarterback and how it could take them into the top 10. Also, do me a favor and provide a rating for the podcast wherever you can. I think they're on Apple. I don't know what other ones do it, but wherever it does, it all helps and appreciate it. Now, before we get to Cam Kurl, a couple things. I'm really curious to see what happens at quarterback in the draft for Washington. If I had to guess, they take another position in the first round and they draft their QB that they want to groom in the second. If that's the case, then it'll come down between Davis Mills from Stanford and Florida's Kyle Trask. Initially, I believe that they viewed Trask as a third rounder, that was a sweet spot for him. So, I think I'm not sure that you're going to be able to get him there. I think both those guys probably go in the second. I know some people who feel that Washington likes Mills quite a bit. Both of them have room for growth. I talked to one person who knows Davis well and asked him what he liked about him. He said simply, everything above the shoulders. Mills is athletic. He ran around a 4.5, 4.6 in the 40 at his pro day, but he's only started 11 games and he has suffered 2 big knee injuries already. But this is someone who is a 5-star recruit out of high school who turned down an offer from Alabama and was rated above quarterbacks such as Tua Tagovailoa and Kellen Mond out of high school. So he clearly has talent. I just think it's the experience factor for him that you're obviously missing, but he's coming from an offense. It's a little bit more, he's under center a lot of play action, power run games, etc. With a lot of these guys at quarterback, I think after that first round, there's potential for upside because I think there's, like in a case like Mills, he only 11 games, and Kyle Trask never really started until a couple, 2 years ago. And so how much room for growth is there? I don't know, but I do think that exists. I did like watching Mills, and I watched a couple of his games. I'm going to keep watching some more, and I will have more on him, hopefully in my next podcast with a really good guest who will break down more of the quarterbacks. Anyway, both those guys are on the table. I'm trying hard to figure out which linebackers or tackles they might take at 19 if they stay there. I like Landon Collins because he has size and he can move and cover. I like Koromoa because he runs so well, and they could use that on defense. Jamin Davis, I like, but I do think he needs to get much better against the run. He finds the ball well, gets washed a little bit in traffic, and sometimes doesn't attack the hole for whatever reason quite as hard as I think he needs to, or quite as fast as he'll need to in the NFL. With Koromoa, I was talking to one executive about him the other day, and I asked him if he was a linebacker or a safety, because I've heard some people kind of debate that. This guy said he's a linebacker, but he said if you put him at linebacker, we'll just run at him. You put him at safety, we'll throw at him. In other words, he might be a little bit small for a linebacker, a little slow for a safety. I do like him, however. And I know what they're looking for at linebacker is someone who loves the game and is just a pure athlete. And there are some guys, I think a couple, down after the first round, guy that I saw him at Ohio State, Pete Werner, guy can cover. And I think he's going to be a day 2 pick. And that's a guy I think to watch. I don't know how much Washington likes him. I just think that he fits a little bit of what they would want at that position. So we'll see, but there are options. As for tackle, they want a great athlete. Who doesn't? Somebody with good core strength. I think Christian Darrisaw kind of fits that description, but we'll see. I know there's sometimes when you watch him, you say you got to finish. And this is what we talked about in the last podcast, the bonus podcast with Michael Nizilik from the Roanoke.com, who covered Darrisaw at college. And like sometimes you see that and you say you got to finish more. And then in other games you did see him do that. So we'll see. I do know there's a lineman they would consider trading up for if they fear losing him. I think the same is true at linebacker, and I've told you there's a chance they could trade in the top 10 for a quarterback. But I'm just not sure for which one. My sense from others has been that they would like Trey Lance over a guy like Justin Fields, and this is assuming Mac Jones goes to San Francisco at 3. But I can't say for 100% certain. Regardless, I think ultimately they don't trade in the top 10, and they take their quarterback in round 2. So I was talking to someone who knows Chase Young well. He said that Chase sent him a video of him working out. He's sprinting on a treadmill, jumps off, gets in a stance, pushes a sled that has 45-pound weights stacked on it, then starts jumping rope. Then he does some burpees. Then he sprints back and repeats it. That was just one set. In other words, he's kind of going hard. And I always kind of laugh when he was on that Celebrity Family Feud. I got a couple tweets from people saying, just focus on your game, as if that's all you can ever do. But the point with this kid is he'll always work. He's working out in Florida now, and Montez Sweat is with him. I felt Sweat was helped by playing with Young last year, more so from watching how Young handled himself as a young professional than simply by the talent that he was on the field. In other words, Sweat improved not because you had to now double team Chase Young, which did help, but I think he got better in part because of Young's arrival and the stuff he did to prepare for the season, for games, etc. I think the impact will be even greater this year because of the ability to work out together in the offseason. Young is a sort of guy who pulls others up with him. All right, well, that's it from me. I'll be back after this break with Washington safety Cam Kurl. How did Madden help his game, and what did he learn about himself as a rookie?
I'm Byron Kerr, host of Curly W. I've spent 15 years covering baseball and the Washington Nationals. My Curly W podcast will give you the opportunity to visit with Nats players, current and former, as well as coaches and coordinators at the major and minor league levels. We will jump into the 21 campaign and look back at how the Nats got here and what prospects are close to making it to the show. Subscribe to Curly W wherever you get your podcasts. Another great show from Empire Media.
Welcome back. Now here's my conversation with Cam Kurl. First of all, thanks for joining me and coming on here. I really enjoyed watching you last year for a lot of reasons I'll get into. But I'm curious now, as we're a couple months from the season, we're getting ready to get back into the workouts and everything. How do you look back on your rookie year?
I mean, I look back as it was a good year. It was one of the I haven't had a year like that in college, so it was one of the best years I played. So it's just my focus now is just trying to get a better year, trying to get better.
Why was it the best year you had?
I don't know. It was to be honest, I don't know. I was out there having fun, really. It felt like high school again, to be honest.
Really?
Because
why?
8-8 tackles. I ain't have 8-8 tackles since high school.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just something different. I like playing with that defense. It's just you can just go out there and have fun.
What is there something about the defense that allows you to have? Is it the guys you're playing with? Is it the way you're being used?
I feel like it's the coaches and it's the guys I'm playing with, because we all got the same mindset. We all know what we want to go out there and do. So it's we got trust in each other so we can go out there and just play to our best ability and have fun.
So have you gone back and watched film of your games already?
Yeah, I watch film. After the game, I'm watching film at home,
But even in the offseason, have you done that again?
Yes.
So what did you see when you will go back and watch it? What are the things that you were happiest with? And what are some of the things you say, I want to get better here?
I feel like I was happy with me flying around to the ball, how I was always around the ball. That's always how I want to play on defense. Some of the things I want to work on, probably just I feel like I can always get better in man coverage, I feel like I got a couple passes caught on me, but it's mostly coverage stuff, and then I'm still getting familiar with being in the box, with the gaps and stuff, but that's all coming along.
So with man coverage, because I remember a couple times where you're knocking passes away in man coverage. Mm-hmm. What is it because you're a big film guy, so you're going to see little things that you pick up. What are some of the little things that you say I can get better with either this technique or whether it's footwork or what?
I kind of feel because coming from the SEC, the refs gonna let you, beat each other up a little bit on the route. So
Yeah.
in the league, it's different. So I done got a couple holding calls and stuff. So that's what I'm working on.
So is it more about where hand placement and all that?
Yeah, probably just hand placement.
Because that's one thing I always like from guys who some other corners and all that, you'd hear like, if you can keep your hands lower, they may not see them as well. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like hand placement and then just keep my feet moving.
Who helped you the most last year? Because you came in, again, I know why you probably were a 7th round pick. Losing the pandemic and all that dropped you down. So you're not a typical 7th round pick, but you still came and made an impact. So who helped you? Was there someone, a player or a coach who really kind of helped you the most during the year?
I feel like the whole DB room had its part in helping me. Like the coaches are gonna help me because they know. They were telling me early on, we can get you on the field. So they were just telling me to keep being ready. They're helping me after practice and stuff. And then guys like Shays and Landon, Dar, Reeves, they all, took me under their wing and were teaching me stuff, keep me after practice to work on stuff. So I feel like the whole room had a part in it.
And how because Landon, you came in for him, especially, what kind of things did he tell you that maybe helped you?
One of the things that really stuck with me was he was just telling me, knowing, being familiar with what everybody's doing on the defense, because Landon gonna know any play you call, he gonna know what everybody on defense is doing. So he was just telling me early on in training camp, he was just once you learn what everybody else is doing, it's gonna make your job easier because you know where everybody's gonna be at. So that's what I was just started doing, going leading up towards the season.
So when did you feel like you had that down?
I probably feel like when I started playing nickel, because it was just one practice, we had a lot of DBs out for the practice, and coach just looked at me. He was like, "You know how to play nickel?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'll go out there, and I told him he was naming plays. I'm telling him what I got to do on the plays before I went out there. So then, at that point, I was I feel like I'm pretty familiar with the whole defense.
It seems like, because that's one thing I've always heard about you is just how smart you are about the game, especially. And that was one of the things that sounded like you lost during the pandemic was the chance to impress teams with that. Yeah. Were you concerned about that? What you'd be able to show, or did you just kind of feel like, hey, whatever the round is, I'm going to get my chance and I'll just show it on the field. But that was one of the things that I always heard, that you could go on the whiteboard and just really impress teams, and you didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah, that would probably hurt. Because especially at the combine, I didn't get any official visits. It was just unofficial visits, So, and the crazy part about it, I was about to board the plane to go to Baltimore. I was in the boarding line.
Right.
And then I got the call telling they were shutting everything down. So then that obviously hurt because you don't know, a guy like me being not really under the radar like that, I got to show them something before draft day, So that hurt a little bit, but at the end of the day, I was just whoever picked me up, I'm going my hardest,
Because I've always heard how much you put into it. So what are some of the, how much do you watch? Is it just watching film, or what do you do with that? How much do you watch? What are some of the things you're getting out of that?
I'll probably I'll watch the film. When I watch film, if I'm watching it, I'll either be watching it on a certain player, because I'm covering mostly tight ends, so I'm gonna be watching all the tight ends routes. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll watch the formations, the players that run out of certain formations. And then I'll probably go on YouTube or something and then watch a game that they play, just to see how the flow of the game go with them. Other than that, it's mostly when I'm on the field, I'll watch the film, but on the field, it's a lot of instincts, because I've been playing football since I was 6.
Right.
So I know football, the ins and out type, I know just the game of football. So that helps me.
I want to ask you about a couple of plays before we go on there, because these are, and I've told some people close to you too, there are some plays that really stood out to me that you didn't even make, but yet they stand out for various reasons. The one was in the Dallas game where they're down in the red zone and they tried the reverse and they wanted to hit Andy Dalton on the touchdown.
Yeah.
You stay home and you stop that play because you're covering Dalton. Then Jeremy comes up and makes a sack. Is that what you're smiling about that? So what do you remember about that play? But that to me, whether it's poise, it's, does that come from film study? Is that instincts? What did that, you just stayed home. You did your job.
Yeah. I was smiling because I didn't see that film. I see that play on film. and you can see like me and Reeves in the back, and like we moving in sync with the reverse.
Right.
So it just looked good on film. But like, I forgot what call we were in, but like I believe I had number 2 to the flat on my side. So when the receiver went back and I seen Dolan come, that really just turned into my number 2, and like nobody was out there. So I'm gonna go erase that, and then Reeves was on it too, so he just like cut off me and went to go get the ball.
But the tendency is to chase the ball in that situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think what impressed me is you stayed home.
Oh, yeah. Our coaches always preach that, especially in the red zone. They always like, if we in a certain call, you like do your job, stay on your side. You know, you don't have nothing to do with that over there, just in case something like that happened. You know, and it worked out.
Did you ever? Because sometimes you have those plays when you're younger and you learn a lesson because you didn't stay home. Did you ever have something like that where it's
I didn't did that in the game like before then. That's why like they always preaching. Like I was probably doing in practice, and we'll see it on film. And it's like, no, you gotta stay home. You know, because it's like the instinct is to go get the ball. You know, you see the dude with the ball, you're gonna go get him. But it's all about techniques and knowing the rules and knowing your job on the defense.
The other play was Chase Young's the strip sack fumble against San Francisco. And if you remember on that play, the quarterback pumps to the bubble, but then they wanted the tight end down the seam. Mm-hmm. And you took that away as well. Do you remember that play?
Yeah, I remember. It was like a little zone play. I had number 3. So when the bubble went, I'm leaving that to the flat guy. And then I'm just waiting on if anything was coming in the middle, and it did. So I was just sinking back with that, you know.
But again, it's
playing with good eyes, really.
And that's what I'm going to say, because is that a film study or is that an instincts thing? Because again, tendency is to get, especially for a young guy, to get over aggressive and fly up, and then it's like, oh crap, the guy's going by me. So is that instincts or film?
That was just instinct, like just knowing my job and knowing and being an instinct. But like, I feel like me this year that I played was a better, like one of the more disciplined years I had, you know, because like in college, I feel like I just wanted to go get the ball, you know, but I done learned a lot since I've been in the NFL just this past year. So like I just know that I can do just my job, and that's going to help me, you know.
And who hammered that home? Because again, you sound like a 5, 7, 9 year vet when you say that. To do that, to go from that in college to a rookie, and especially, you know, again, I hate to say just a 7th round pick because I think you would have gone higher, but you know, like why did you take that approach? Because to me, that's kind of rare for a rookie to realize it like that.
It was like the coaches put it on us, you know. Coach Del Rio gonna tell you to go out there and just do your job, you know, because if everybody go out there and just do their job, they're going to figure out who's not good enough to be on the defense, you know, because that's where the mess up's going to come from. But it's just going out there and being disciplined, you know. I like playing football. I like playing for this team. I'm trying to keep my job.
There you go. So and like you said, you've been playing since you were 6. When did you feel like you really started studying the game?
Honestly, like high school, we would probably watch film as a team like once, twice a week. Then college, I started watching more. But I still feel like I wasn't watching enough. Like, this year was a big jump for me. Like, as film watching and, like, being, like, just as an overall football player. You know what I'm saying? Getting more knowledge on the game and stuff. I feel like the coaches really helped me out with that, like, helping me make this big leap.
But you have to understand it, too, to take that big leap. So, like, and you used to study schemes with Madden. Is that what you do?
Oh, yeah, I be on Madden, like, Madden to help. Like, I done seen some plays in the game that I done seen in Madden, you know. So
seriously?
Yeah, for sure.
This year?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, when you see that, like, are you thinking, like, oh, I saw this on Madden? I mean,
like, we'll be watching film, like, and I'll be like, I just seen that play on Madden. Like, I was just playing to see that play. It's crazy.
That is funny. Were there some plays from this past year that, you know, I just brought up a couple, and I know you even in that San Francisco game you had the pick 6, which is a huge play. But were there some plays that you made or that you stopped that you were like, I'm really proud of this play?
Yeah. I feel like when I started recognizing stuff on my own, like say it was this one play that a lot of teams would run, the little where they motion the receiver into the line and he go inside the tight end and block.
Okay, yeah.
So and my job is to come down and stay on the inside of him. So like at the beginning of the season, I would see it, but I would come down like when the ball snapped because I would recognize it late. But towards the end, I'm seeing motion him in, and I'm already getting down in the box, getting ready for it. So I was proud of myself and stuff like that.
How much did Landon help you with that? Because I remember talking to him about that. He's pretty good with that too.
He helped me with a lot, like especially like all the box stuff. Like I was always watching him, like in practice. I'm watching him, he coming off the sideline. I probably ask him questions and stuff like that. But mostly in practice, I'm just getting all the mental reps, trying to watch stuff that they do.
Are you, and speaking of Landon, you guys both play that same spot and you guys can both play big nickel. Have you, and he's coming back this year, have you thought much at all about how you guys will be used?
I mean, a little bit, but I don't know. I don't got the solution in my head. I just feel like we both good football players. Everybody knows who Landon Collins is. It's Landon Collins. Like, I used to watch his highlights. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just however they use it, I feel like they're going to want us both on the field, though. Like, I feel like I showed them that they're going to want me on the field. Like, so whatever they do, I just hope it fits both of us well.
Could you play free safety if you had to, the deep middle consistently?
Yeah, I feel like I can. That's what I played in college. I just played the field safety, so I would be like deep and I'll be in the box. And then training camp, for most of training camp, it was me and Reeves running with the third group. So we would just play left and right. So one time I'd be deep and then one time I'd be in the box. So I can play both.
And have they talked to you about that, or is that not even been discussed yet?
I was playing some of it until Landon got hurt.
Okay.
So when Landon got hurt, I just moved just to straight strong safety.
Jeremy was a bit of he's an aggressive guy back there coming up, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Were there some other players? Were there other players that you reached out to that you have reached out to this offseason just to pick their brains or anything like that?
Looking like on different teams?
Different teams or anybody?
I wouldn't probably say different teams. Us DBs, we got the group chat. We stay in touch and stuff about everything. So, but I wouldn't say just different teams. I got some guys on different teams that, I looked up to, watched highlights of, like Eddie Jackson, Minka. Like, I watched all that stuff. I'll probably get in touch sooner than later, though.
You like watching the highlight stuff of other guys?
Yeah, like when I was in college, high school, I stayed watching highlights, trying to pick something up from them, just trying to get better.
One of the guys, too, when I remember reading something about how when you were younger, you had an Adrian Peterson jersey.
Oh, yeah. My first position was running back. Like, that was my favorite player. Like,
so what was it like meeting him last year?
It was crazy. Like, it was surreal. Like, I don't know. Just to see him out there, in the stretch lines, I'm right next to him, you know what I'm saying? But it was crazy. We had our little moment. Like, I don't know. He welcomed me to the NFL a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
How so? What do you do?
We was in inside drill. And, the safety's in inside drill. We not touching nobody. You know what I'm saying? So he get kind of backfield, and I'm running up just to, get in position. And, AP, he going to lower his shoulder on me. I wasn't really ready for it. You know what I'm saying? But he came up to me. He was like, my fault. I ain't even do all that. It was all good.
AP likes to show that he's still AP, though.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Did you talk to him about how you had his jersey, or did you say anything like that to him?
Nah, I ain't told him yet. It was in training camp for when he was there, so we weren't really having that much of a conversation. Then he had left at the end, so I ain't know that was gonna happen.
How did last year? Did it change you? Do you come away there with more confidence in what you can do, or how did it change you? Because that was really a good year.
Yeah, I'm for sure got more confidence. That's really what last year was really about. Just me figuring out that I can really play with these guys. You know what I'm saying? So now that I know that, I can take it to a different level. You know what I'm saying?
When did you reach that point? Because you were pretty good early on, but when did you reach that point?
Like I said, when I was recognizing stuff on my own, you know what I'm saying? When I'm coming out the sideline, the coach is like, boom, you seen that, good job, you know what I'm saying? They showing me the plays on the sideline, excuse me. And, I just feel like when I built that confidence up, and they were telling me, just play confident. You belong out there. So boom, when I knew that, and I'm just going out there and playing and having fun, like, and I'm making plays. That's when I'm really like, okay, I can play with these guys.
Have you studied much of William Jackson?
I used to watch his highlights when he was at Houston.
Oh, really?
When I played, because my freshman year at Arkansas, I played corner. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I was watching his highlights when I was in college for sure.
So what do you think about him coming on board?
I like him. Big corner, physical corner. I like him for sure.
How does that help a safety? Because as you know, the safety's got to work in tandem with those corners. But how does it help having a big guy like him who can run the way he does? How does that help you?
Yeah, it helps a lot. Because, he gonna most likely, if he's impressed, he gonna most likely get his hands to slow the receiver down. So it's like, it's gonna give you more time to dissect the play.
And what about having a young defensive line that is really, really good? Yeah. And that should get, like, a guy like Chase should get better. I mean, again, you got this big smile because, like, it's a big thing for a safety, big thing for anybody playing behind him, especially a safety.
For real. It's really fun, like, even when you're on the field, like, because I'm the safety, I see everybody in front of me, so I can see them tearing up the O-line, getting to the quarterback. Like, it's crazy.
Especially when you're playing up near the line, what did you see as the impact, what they had on you?
They had a big impact because it's like, I feel like the linemen, they're going to take care of them first. They're going to make sure to take care of them, then come to us. And it's like, when we would have me, Chase, and Sweat, because sometimes I would come down on the tight end.
Right.
So us being on the same page, like, either if I'm coming down inside of him or outside of him, stuff like that, that helped a lot.
And that could you tell, like, they would have some problems with those guys? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. They, like, you talking about the offensive line?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you're going to see them wrecking shop every week. Like, it's fun to watch, for real.
So what are you looking forward to most as you get back into the, whether it's virtual or live workouts, what are you looking forward to the most here?
Just getting back with the team, really. Like, I'm trying to play football. Like, usually I'll be in spring ball. Like, in college, my Arkansas having spring practice right now. So I'm just ready to get back playing football, getting back with the team. Your dad he was a basketball player, correct? Yeah, in high school.
Okay, and so I think it was Baylor talked to him about playing football, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. Did you get this love of football from him, though, even though he didn't play that? Did you get this from him? Where did you get that?
I feel like, honestly, we, like, grew to love it at the same time because it's like, when I was younger, I was probably, like, 4 or 5, and I was just watching it on TV. And, like, I was like, that's what I want to do.
Why? So, why did you like it so much?
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't even remember what game was on. Like, I just remember watching it, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And, like, they tried to put me in flag football when I was like 5. And I'm like, nah, like, I got to play tackle. Like, so I had to wait till I was 6 to play. And it's like, he had told me, like, if this is what you really want to do, like, and I'm like, yeah. So he was like, so he just went in learning about it, like, for himself so he can teach me, even though he ain't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? So he went and took it on himself to learn about it so he could help me.
So what other little things did you do growing up? Because if you're like that already at 6, you running extra hills, like what different things are you doing then? Like, because you would have seen what other kids aren't doing. What were you doing that was just different?
Yeah, he had me doing all that, running extra hills. He working me out at home extra. Like when I stayed in California, we had this driveway, and it was a long hill. And he had me running up there, backpedaling up it. Like he got me right though. When everybody else wasn't doing nothing, but as a kid, you see everybody else not doing it. Like I'm trying to go chill with them. Like I don't feel like doing it, but it all worked out.
So yeah, I was going to ask you too, because like how were there many times where he's like, I don't want to do it, but he's like, get out there.
Yeah, like you go to the park, I'm the only one out there on the ladder and stuff like that. Like, but it all worked out. Like I started to realize, like, to get where I'm at, like that's what you got to do. Like you can't be like everybody else.
Right. No.
Everybody else gonna make it here.
Well, I mean, especially because you can see like the little difference that some of the stuff we're already talking about earlier. If you're not prepared for that stuff, you're not going to make that play and you're not going to last in the league. Right. But also for your background playing corner, playing, the field side safety, like how much has that helped develop you into what you can do in the NFL?
It helped a lot, especially playing corner. Like that helps with covering skills, and then playing the field side. You got all that field to take care of. So just being able to have that range, that helped me out a lot.
Got a couple more questions for you, and I appreciate this, Cam. Really enjoyed it. First of all, you got a chain on there that says Bam.
Oh, yeah.
So is that a nickname?
Yeah, like my little Instagram name always been Cam Bam, but the team started calling me Cam Bam too. So my homeboy said I gotta get a Bam chain. So I just got it.
That's pretty good. When did that start to happen? When that nickname come about?
I don't know. I feel like in high school probably.
Okay.
In high school, some people call me Cam Bam.
And what do you like to do away from the field? Like, what are some either hobbies or what other things do you like to do?
I be on the game. Like, I play video games. I be playing Madden, 2K, UFC.
Of course, Madden. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do?
I mean, I'm good though. I'm good at the game.
Any you challenge guys in the team?
I play AG. I think. No, I don't think I play anybody else though.
Okay.
I play AG. I think I beat him.
Okay. You don't remember? I'm sure you did.
Nah, I beat him.
Okay. Okay. All right. What anything else besides those things you like to do?
I really be chilling. Like, I just be at the house. I don't be going out like that. Even before the COVID stuff, I usually just be at the house. I'll probably go out like Top Golf or something. But
do you like to golf, or just go to Top Golf?
I like to go Top Golf because
Top Golf is different. It's fun.
Yeah, I got to get better before I go to real golfing.
Well, I think most of the people on the golf course probably have to say that because most people aren't there very good. But Top Golf is a lot of fun because you can you get a group of guys together and you can kind of make fun of whomever and everybody's going to make fun of whatever. Right. That's why it's fun, Right. So yeah, the key for that is always to play with guys who are much worse than you because then no matter what, you look better.
I got to find somebody who's worse than me.
Okay, well, trust me, I know some people who probably are. So, yeah. But, well, listen, Cam, I appreciate you coming on. Really enjoyed it. And like I said, I enjoy watching you play because you always seem to be in the right place at the right time. And there's a reason why that's the case. It's certainly not luck. So it's fun to watch you, and it'll be fun to watch you develop over the next however long you're here. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, man.
You too.
Hello, it's Tyler Roman, former NFL scout and host of the Roman Around the League podcast. Every week, I update my mock draft that not only looks at the best players available, but the needs for all first-round teams. The draft board keeps changing with all the movement this year, so tune into my show, Roman Around the League. That's ROMAN Around the League podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and check out all of the great shows from Empire Media.
That's it for this episode. I appreciate Cam joining me, and thank you, as always, for listening. I'll be back with another episode Sunday night. I do believe this will be heavy on more breakdowns of positions of interest for Washington. Quarterback and linebacker in particular, I think it's going to be with the guest that you really like. Talk to you next time.